Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in celebration of the adventure cards getting reprinted in the new Battles of Legends set, I am going to put out an updated Plunder Patrol adventure deck profile. This is how I would play the deck right now. I do know of the Runic Plunder deck, and I just don't have the Runic cards, and I don't plan to get them before they get reprinted. And I think their set is getting reprinted in the Megaton, so hopefully when that season comes around, I'll be able to pick up Runic and try out some Plunder Runic. But for now, I don't feel like investing in that, and I already have the adventure package, so I'm going to go ahead and show off the Plunder deck. So right now, I think Plunder is in a really good spot because it's such a diverse format, and Plunder really thrives when it comes to diverse formats because attributes are all over the place. Plunder's a super flexible deck in terms of main and side deck building. So I think Plunder's in a really good spot, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and give it a try sometime soon at locals. So yeah, this is how I would bring the deck to locals right now. I've given it some thought, and I think this is really a solid build, and I'll let you guys judge for yourself once you see it. I do have a main, extra, and side deck, and I think the side deck is necessary to show you guys because some of the extra deck is affected by the side deck. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go through it with you, and let me know what you guys think in the comments. So this is a 41 card main. You could cut it to 40 probably pretty easily. It's up to you how you want to do it. But anyways, we're playing for the Plunder Patrol lineup. 3 copies of Whitebeard standard. This is your main guy. Like, you always want to see Whitebeard or search him with the field spell. So yeah, 3 copies for sure. And then 3 copies of Black Eyes, which I think is the next best monster for the Plunder strategy, just because we can extend with it really well. It's really great for card advantage and so forth. So yeah, Black Eyes is so good. And then I'm on 3 copies of Bluebeard. I really want to see extenders. I really want to go into Jord on turn 1. I really want to extend into extend through disruptions on turn 2 if I'm going second. So I think Bluebeard is going to be definite 3 of in my list. And then a little bit different from my previous Plunder profiles, if you guys have watched them. I'm on 3 Golden Hair now. I am appreciating Golden Hair a little bit more than I used to, and plus I just want to see more Plunder names in my hand. I want to always have ammo for my ships, and because we're on 41, I need to bump Golden Hair up to 3. Golden Hair is probably the 3rd Golden Hair is probably the 41st card, but I really want to see it, and I really want the discard outlet and so forth. So yeah, I'm on 3 golden and then 2 red. It's the only 2 of. It's the one that you want to summon from deck and not really see in your hand, but I wouldn't advise playing 1 because if you draw the 1, your Whitebeard gets way worse, especially if you are going second, because a lot of the times you are going to use Whitebeard's effect to summon a red, and red is basically an interruption on his own, but you never want to normal summon it. So yeah, that's why we're on 2 Redbeard right now. And for the rest of the, I guess, Plunder engine, we're on 3 copies of the field spell plus the terraforming. I think this is just good. You always need to see the field spell. You always want to buff up your guys to get a lot of attack points and finish games quickly, plus the searcher, consistency, and so forth. I don't really need to explain it. I do like Emblem, so I am on 1 copy of Emblem right now, and I think it's good enough to play. You want to have different targets to search with Mowork, because when Mowork effect resolves, you can search up under spell or trap, but you don't always want a field spell, so I am on 1 copy of Emblem, and it really helps play through some stuff as well. It helps play through, I guess, monster effect negates. If you want to go into like a Mowork or a Bran, you don't have to use a monster effect to get into them necessarily. You can just go through it with Emblem, and the attack buff is pretty significant and actually comes up. And then the last Plunder card I'm playing is the 1 copy of Booty. I'm back and forth on maining this or siding 1 copy for when I go first, but I think it's good enough to play, and the format is slow enough where a Booty will come in handy. So yeah, this is the Plunder package. This is 20 cards of the deck. And yeah, the other 21 cards are some non-engine. So Let me scoop these up, put them aside here, and we'll get into the rest. So as I mentioned in the intro, this is an adventure build, so I'm on 3 copies of Enchantress, 2 copies of Right, 1 Griffin, 1 Dracoback, and 1 Fateful. So I think this is fairly standard when it comes to playing adventure builds in Plunder. You could play 3 Right if you really want to see it, but I think having the 3 Enchantress is going to be fine. Plus, don't forget, Enchantress can add Right from deck or grave, so even if you see both of your Rights, your Enchantresses aren't dead in the grind game, they can add the Right back from the graveyard. So yeah, just the, let's see, 8 card adventure package is kind of standard. And then other non-engine / going second cards, I'm on 2 copies of Fenrir. I think Fenrir is really nice in this deck. Not only is it a body on board, it's an interruption if you get hand trapped, and it searches you a discard fodder for your field spell or for Bluebeard for a free draw one. So yeah, you're pretty much usually going to summon a Fenrir, search another Fenrir, and then discard that second Fenrir, because chances are you're never going to summon that. Onto the hand traps. I'm on 3 copies of Ash Blossom and 3 copies of Ghost Bell, and then 2 copies of Imperm. So I chose these because, okay, they're the 3 best. This format, Ash hits damn near every deck right now. Bell also hits a lot of decks right now. Don't forget that Big Welcome Labyrinth gets hit by Ghost Bell. Like, I don't know, Enchantress gets hit by Ghost Bell. You know, Nadir Servant gets hit by Ghost Bell. Just remember that a lot of cards that search from deck or graveyard, and Ghost Bell really comes in handy. Plus, it's like a decent hit against Runic. It can hit Kashtira Birth if they're like really struggling and have to summon from the graveyard. So yeah, Bell has a lot of applications similar to Ash this format. And I want to play more hand traps and less, or like more monster hand traps and not really Imperm as much, because when you're drawing on your opponent's turn, when you resolve like Blackbeard, then you want to, if you draw into a hand trap, you want to be able to use that hand trap. So you could even consider cutting the Imperms for like Veilers or something, but I think just Imperm is too versatile for going first versus second, and I think Imperm over Veiler is still warranted. And then the final 3 cards in my deck right now are 3 copies of Forbidden Droplet. Now, if you're playing against a lot of Kashtira, please cut this for something else like Dark Ruler No More if you want, or even main deck Evenly Matched if you want. But if you're not playing against a lot of Kashtira, I think Droplet is very good this format, and plus you have so much fodder to send for the Droplet cost that it's just super, it synergizes very well with the Plunder strategy. So yeah, I definitely recommend playing 3 Droplet in Plunder, and once a Rise Heart goes away, this will definitely be a mainstay in the deck. So yeah, that's the 41 card main, and yeah, there's a lot of flexibility. If you prefer to play Kaijus or something, you can play Kaijus instead of like the Droplets, or if you don't want to pick up the adventure package, that's okay too. You can play just more hand traps or Kaijus or like Bystials in the main deck and stuff like that. Onto the extra deck. It's fairly standard. I don't know, there's some flexibility. So we have 3 copies of Blackbeard. It's the best card in your extra deck, and you very often go into all 3. 2 copies of Mowork, standard. 2 copies of Yord. I think 2 is warranted in this build because we have extra deck space, first of all, and I know it returns itself to the extra, but if it ever gets stopped and you're playing against an Earth deck, or anybody playing like Kashtira Fenrir, you're going to want a second Yord in your extra. So yeah, Earth decks are not that uncommon right now, and just because of the diversity of the formats, I think just having 2 Earth ships is a safe play. 2 copies of Bran, 2 copies of Lys as well. So this is our Plunder ship lineup. I think it's fairly standard. It's been standard ever since they've been out. 3 Blackbeard, 2 of everything else. Alright, so this is where we have some flexibility, and I have a few options here, and I'll show you what I'm going with by default, but I'll show you some other alternatives in case you are attracted to those. So 1 copy of Almirage for the 1 card Blackbeard play with golden hair just in case. 1 copy of Dragite because setting up spell and trap negates when you know you're playing against stuff like Labyrinth or whatever is really nice and is better than other alternatives sometimes. 1 copy of Baronne de Fleur. Now you might be asking, how the hell are you making that? Well, that's where the side deck comes in. We are playing a Bastille package in the side deck. So if you were to summon a Bastille on your opponent's turn, and then like summon a level 4 tuner, on your turn you could just go right into Baronne and protect the rest of your play, and you're in a really good spot after that. So I am maining the Baronne. It's up, if you don't have one, that's okay. You can also play other level 10 synchros like Ice Jade, Gamir, Agrin, or whatever it is, but yeah, I think this is worth playing baseline. And then the last copy, or the last card in the extra deck that I'm playing is a copy of Divine Arsenal, a Zeus. You can go into this with Mowerk. You can just hard make the Mowerk and attack and go into Zeus. Alternatively, you can go into Mowerk with Blackbeard effect, and you can just make Zeus anyway on top of the Mowerk if your Mowerk is dead, and now you have a 3000 body. And if your opponent destroys one of your cards, you can attach it to Zeus. Don't forget about Zeus's second effect. So even if Zeus is sitting on 1 material, there is a chance you can get a second material under that thing and have a live Zeus. So don't forget about those. And then I'm going to show you a couple of the alternatives that I considered for the extra deck. One is White Aura Whale, and I don't actually own a copy of that card right now, which is why I kind of rolled it out immediately for this profile, but White Aura Whale is very good for breaking boards. Another consideration I had was Nightmare Phoenix, and that is just simply to out stuff like There Can Be Only One. Actually, no, this doesn't really help There Can Be Only One. Nightmare Phoenix is a fiend, so that's no good. But anyways, yeah, that kind of rules that out for me right there. Here we go, problem solved. We have another option. If you can make 2 spaces in your extra deck, I was considering Springen's Merrymaker plus a copy of Gigantic Champion Sargus, and that is simply to go 2 level 4s into a 2 or 4 material Zeus. So a 2 board wipe Zeus. So it's just an option that you can play. We are playing a level 4 deck, so sometimes just going into like normal summon Golden Hair, special summon Bluebeard, overlay Merrymaker, overlay Sargus, overlay, and then attack, and then overlay Zeus, and then from there you can board wipe with the Zeus, and then even bring the Golden Hair back and link off the used Zeus and the Golden Hair to go into Blackbeard and then start your Plunder Patrol plays. So that was an idea I had. I just couldn't justify 2 slots in this extra deck. You could cut 1 Jord, 1 Baronne, or something like that, but it's just an option to keep in mind that you can go into. So yeah, that's the extra deck for Plunder right now. In terms, or in my opinion. And then now let's go into the side deck really quick. As I already mentioned, we're playing a Bastille package, so 3 Magnemite's the best one, plus 1 Druis Worm. Druis Worm is really nice with Plunder because if you can summon the Druis Worm on your opponent's turn, and then like summon a level 4 tuner, and then synchro it off into Baronne, for example, or even just link it off into Blackbeard, your Druis Worm will proc, and you'll get another benefit and help break a board. So that's super nice. And then we have for other monsters, I'm playing 2 copies of Radiant in the side deck. If you want to play a full Kaiju package with like Interrupted Kaiju Slumber and other attribute Kaijus, that's totally fine, but I think just the 2 Radiant right now is good for me. And then for some back row hate, we have 1 copy of Harpies and 2 Cosmic, and then 3 Evenly Matched. So of course this is very hard into the back row decks, but I think they have different applications. You might not side all of them all the time. For example, if you're playing against Runic, maybe just the Cosmics, or if you're playing against Labyrinth, you might go even all 6, or if you're playing against Kashtira, maybe just the Evenlies, for example. So yeah, it's up to you. And then the final 3 cards in the side are 3 copies of Rivalry of Warlords for when you go first, and you can set up Fiends, and you can set up Jord, and give your opponent a Fiend token, and then flip Rivalry, and now they're toast because they can only summon other Fiend monsters, and chances are they can't do that. So yeah, Rivalry is kind of like a auto win card when you go first and draw it and are able to set up Jord. So yeah, this is the deck. 41 card main, 15 card extra, 15 card side. Let me know what you guys think. Hope you enjoyed. Comment, like, subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these kind of deck profiles, and we will see you guys in the next one. Have a good day.